Well, friends, this is Guruji Online, and today we will talk about circuits. And as on the screen you have seen these two circuits, one is capacitor is attached, and other one is one battery is attached. Basically, what is a circuit? Circuit is nothing but where the positive charge carriers can move in a continuous manner. And how we can achieve that? One way is that we attach a capacitor, but capacitor basically discharges very quickly. When it discharges, then the positive charge carriers will move, but it discharges very quickly, and after some time the movement of the carriers will stop because both the plates will be at the same potential. Now, for the charges to move in a continuous way, we should have an EMF device. Basically, it is called EMF is nothing but it is an electromotive force. This device develops a force on the charges, and due to which the positive charge carriers they move in the circuit in a continuous manner. Some of the EMF devices are battery, electric generator, solar cells, fuel cells, thermopiles. These two are used in spacecrafts. You can study about them. Now let us see the inside of the EMF cell. What is this? Is a circuit, and we have attached a battery here. This is a positive terminal. This is a negative terminal. Positive terminal. It is at the higher potential, and negative terminal. It is at the lower potential. So naturally, electric field direction will be like this. Okay. Now, if a positive charge carrier from negative terminal to positive terminal, if you are shifting, then naturally you have to do some work. And this work is done by the chemicals inside the battery. And due to this work, this charge moves from negative to positive terminal, and then it moves and it comes back to again negative. Like that, a continuous movement is achieved, and your chemical energy is utilized in making this continuous movement to happen. Now suppose dq charge is being transferred in dt time, then what is the potential energy? Du is equal to dq into V. V is the potential difference. Okay, it is the potential difference within which this dq charge is moving. So dq into V will be the potential energy, and it is nothing but dq is nothing but I dt into V, or this u is nothing but I into V into dt, sorry, du upon dt is nothing but your power, or it is I into, correct. Power is your W upon T also. Must have studied in mechanics. So this is the power which an EMF device supplies to generate the current of I if the potential difference between the terminals is V. Now let us understand circuits from the work energy principle. Huh? As I already told you, suppose dq charge is transferred in dt time within the terminals. And this is the battery. If dq charge is transferred in dt time within the then what will happen? Suppose its EMF between these two terminals is E. Actually, EMF is denoted with this sign. Then this EMF is nothing but dW upon dt, work, sorry, not dq, work done per unit charge. This is your electromotive force or EMF. It is also called potential of the battery. This is an SI unit office. This is nothing but joules per coulomb. Correct? So this is about battery EMF. So what is EMF? It is basically dW upon dq. dq charge, for transferring the dq charge in dt time, you are doing the dW work. Now there are two types of batteries, that is, one is ideal EMF device and real EMF device. In ideal EMF device, there is no internal within the battery. Actually chemical will be there, but there should not be any resistance. If there is no internal resistance, then it is called ideal one. Otherwise, some of the energy of the battery will be dissipated within the battery itself or EMF device itself. Correct? So how the energy transfer takes place? It is energy transfer takes place from the EMF device two charged carriers then it is two electrical devices like your bulb and all. So this is how the process takes place. Your EMF devices, they do the work, and due to this, these charge carriers flow into the electrical devices, and due to that, whatever electric like bulb, fan and all, they move, they glow. Here, basically your dW is nothing but E dq or I dt, or this can be written as I square R dt also, because R is equal to V by I. And in case of ideal batteries, V is nothing but R. So this is the basically thermal energy which is which is developed in the electrical devices like bulb and all. And this also you can write in case of ideal batteries. This thermal energy which is developed is basically irreversible. It cannot be taken back. Here again you see this and this, all these terms dt cancels out, I this cancels out, then this is your basically equation, main equation for the circuit, and this we have derived based on the work energy principle. Please note that. Now we will derive the same equation with some other method that is called potential method. Now let us see what is potential method. Here this is a circuit and this is a EMF device. Please note that this is at higher potential and this is at lower potential. This is at higher potential and this is at lower potential, and this arrow is always marked from minus to plus. Current is moving like this within this resistance R. Okay. Now we will define what is called loop rule, and this is also called Kirchhoff's law. Okay. What this law is? Algebraic sum of change of potential encountered in a complete loop must be 0. You can note down this. Now let us suppose we take a point here A. Now we will write our loop equation, that is we are starting from VA and going clockwise. So VA plus, now what is after this point, what is coming, this battery is there, this is, now you are moving from negative terminal to positive terminal, that means voltage is increasing because this end is negative terminal has low voltage and plus positive terminal has high voltage. So potential, since potential is increasing, so this will be plus. Then here next thing is here this point is at the higher potential and this point is having lower potential because this is directly connected to this. And then once the current flows through this resistance, there will be potential drop. So naturally this point will be at the lower potential. But in any case, suppose if you take the loop direction and I and R, they are also in the same direction, to take this thing as a minus because there will always be voltage drop within these resistances. Correct? So this will be basically IR and this will be nothing but, again we are coming back to VA point, and this will give you nothing but correct. So this was basically clockwise direction. Suppose if we had taken anti-clockwise, then what would have happened? VA, now since we are against the direction of the loop, or our loop is against the direction of the current, this will be plus, and in the battery we are coming from positive to negative, to this will be minus, will be again VA. So here it will be again with this also, this you can achieve this. So in whatever fashion you make your loop, clockwise or anti-clockwise, but please don't forget the underlying principle, how you have to take minus and plus. Now we will see what is internal resistance. I told you there are two types of batteries. Ideal battery does not have any internal resistance, but that is ideal, it is very difficult. The real batteries do have some kind of internal resistance. So this is the basically EMF device, and here it is having an internal resistance of R. Naturally this will have a current like this because positive terminal is like this. So again, if you draw the loop from the loop rule, what will be the I minus this minus I R will be 0, and in this case your I will modify as R plus, correct. If it is ideal battery, then I will be This is your real battery. Now we will talk about resistance in series. So far we are seeing only one resistance, and suppose you have more than one resistance like this. This is your current. Suppose this is R1, R2, R3. So if you again follow the loop rule, then what will be there? E minus I R1 minus I R2 minus I R3 must be equal to 0, because current in all the resistances will be same, or I will be nothing but this divided by R1 plus R2 plus R3. Correct? Now you have an equivalent. Resistance like this, instead of these three, then this must be equal to I upon R equivalent, or you can say R equivalent. In case of series resistances, it will be R1 plus R2 plus R3, or if there are a number of resistances, then it will be R. Correct? So this is in case of resistances are joined in series. Now we will find out how to find the potential between 2 points. Suppose you have a circuit like this. This is R, current is your I, EMF. And suppose you want to find out the potential difference between A and B. Let us apply loop rule from A to B. So first potential is VA. Now since EMF is increasing, it will be plus, and then I into R, because yet this internal resistance is also within the B, and this must be equal to VB. Correct? So VB minus VA is equal to minus IR. So this is the potential between VB, between A and B. And suppose if you don't know I, then we can replace this I. I is nothing but, in case of internal resistance, this already we know, into R, or this will come out as R plus R this into R. Please note that we generally denote internal resistance with small r and outside resistances as capital R. Now, what is the potential between the terminals? Potential between the terminal. This question comes many times. Suppose a battery is there, you have to find out the potential between the terminals. So if internal resistance is not there, means battery is ideal, then naturally V will be equal to this, because here R will be 0 and then VA minus VB will be nothing but this E. But if it is real, then potential between the terminals will be E EMF minus I into R. Please note these things. Sometimes they are generally asked in MCQs. Power we already know, that is I into V. These things we have already derived. Now in this case what will happen? P will be nothing but I here EMF minus IR, correct? Or we can say I minus I square R. Now this part is dissipated within the battery itself. So it is called internal dissipation. Wait. Now so far we have seen the loop rule in a single circuit. Let us see, suppose there are in a circuit there are multi loops are there. Suppose this kind of circuit is there. Here this is E1, this is E2, but this is R1, R2, this is R3. Suppose this I1 current is flowing through this. Now as a junction rule I told you, this is I1. Suppose this is bifurcating into I2 and I3, and we apply the loop rule, correct? Like this, first in this and then second in this. So here one equation we can get, I1 is equal to I2 plus I3, that is our junction rule. Second equation we can get this E1 minus I1 R1 minus I3 R3 is equal to 0, and this will be 1, this will be 2, and another equation we can have E2, it will be minus, because here from higher potential to lower potential, this loop is direction is there. So this, and of course this I3 R3, because it is against the direction of the current, so it will be plus, minus the I2 R2 will be 0. So this is how you can apply the formulas. This is a problem of multi-loop. There are three unknowns, I1, I2, I3. There are three equations, so you can find out. Now let us see what happens when the resistances are connected in parallel. Here in the figure, R1, R2, R3, they are connected in parallel. Now, when the resistances they are connected in parallel, then their voltage is remains same, because you see this positive terminal, this higher potential terminal of the battery, it is connected to all the resistances. This AND is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and this AND is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. So all these three resistances are at the same potential. Then as we know, I1 will be V upon R1, I2 will be V upon R2, and I3 will be V upon R3. Suppose this is V is the potential with which they are connected. And I will be nothing but I1 plus I2 plus I3, or we can say V upon R1 plus V upon R2 plus V upon R3, or this in terms of equivalent capacitor. Then naturally, what about the equivalent resistance? It will be 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. Okay, so this is how we can find out the equivalent capacitor in case they are connected in parallel. Here E is equal to V if no internal resistance is there, or V is equal to E minus IR. These all things we have explained. You have to just take a note. Okay. Now we will briefly talk about what is ammeter and what is voltmeter. This is a device to measure current, and this is a device to measure voltage. Okay. Now let us see how they are connected. This is your battery, and this is your circuit basically. This is R1, R2. This is your basic circuit, and I current is flowing. Now, if you want to measure the current directly through ammeter, you have to attach this thing in series within the circuit where you want to measure the current. Correct. And if you want to measure the voltage. Suppose you want to measure the voltage in R2 resistor, then attach this voltage in parallel. Why? Ammeters basically they are supposed to have very minimum resistance, smaller because they are directly connected in series. So their resistance should not be much in comparison to the outside resistances. Otherwise, this resistance of the ammeter, this combining with R1 and R2, this will alter the current I, and then you will have a very faulty result, because then it will measure the altered current. So it should have, basically ideally it should have very or very small resistance. But in case of voltmeter, since it is connected in parallel, so it should have higher resistance. Higher in comparison to R2. Otherwise, this current, the maximum portion of the current will be bifurcated here through the voltmeter, and it will again alter the resultant current, that is I. Okay, so it will have, voltmeter should be having high resistance, ammeter should be having a small resistance. Ammeters are connected in series, voltmeters are connected in parallel wherever you want to measure the voltage or current. So this was all about circuit today. Whatever is remaining, that we will cover up tomorrow. And I hope you must understood what is circuit, what is resistances, what are I hope you must understood what is circuit, what are the resistances, what happens when they are connected in series, what happens when they are connected in parallel, what is basically EMF, what is their internal resistances, and what is power, where it is dissipated, and how the EMF devices they move the charged particles. So these things are very important to understand. Like yesterday, please make strong your theory part. Unless your theory part is strong, you are going to commit mistakes in its application part. So if you like this video, please do subscribe my channel, and tomorrow we will again come up with another lecture of this electricity. Thank you very much.